Again, in the general form, you can't tell much about the equation. If we could change this to the standard form, then you could find the vertex, and from that vertex, you could get the axis of symmetry. So we need to complete the square again. Step 1, factor out a -2. When you factor a -2 out of a positive, you're going to get a negative. And what happens when I factor a -2 out of an odd number?
That's bad.
You get a fraction. It's not bad. It just practices your fraction stuff, which we are generally not as good at as whole numbers.
Which is what makes it bad.
Which is what makes it a good thing to practice. Steps are the same. Divide this by 2. 5/2 divided by 2. Remember that dividing by 2 is the same as cutting something in half or multiplying by half. And remember from your fractions, when you multiply fractions, you multiply the top and you multiply the bottom. So you would get 5/4. Actually, -5/4, because it's a -5/2. Now, when I have -5/4 and I square it, 5 times 5 is 25. On the bottom, I'd have 4 times 4, which would be 16. So inside in that first space, I would get plus 25/16.
But
Times it by the -2, it means that we've actually subtracted 25/8. So what would the opposite of subtracting 25/8 be? Adding 25/8. So now our final form will be y equals -2. X minus, again, half of -5/2 we already figured out was -5/4 squared. How do I put the -3 and the plus 25/8 together? Common denominator. -3 is -3/1, which is the same as -24/8. -24/8 plus 25/8 would be plus 1/8. The question asked, what was the axis of symmetry? X equals 5/4. Because our vertex, right, our vertex would be 5/4, 1/8. And here we would have our axis of symmetry being x equals 5/4. And it would be positive because, again, if you think of your vertex is always the opposite of the sign here. So it would be 5/4, 1/8. And then your axis of symmetry, these two numbers are always the same. Yeah. Question for this one is 8 and 10. Oh, Brett.